Hi, it's Danielle. This is my perfume journal where I document my love of perfume. It is time for the June installment of Perfume Collecting for Regular People. This is the series where I break down in detail my collecting habits as a perfume enthusiast, including my spending down to the penny. And my goal in creating this series was just to show how I, a regular person, have been able to enjoy what can be a very, very expensive hobby for many, many years on a somewhat moderate budget that works for me. So if you watched last month's video, you will know that Vacation Danielle took over, and when Vacation Danielle is in control, the budget is not. I went far, far over my monthly allowance, but when I do that, rather than living in a state of regret, I just adjust for future months to get myself back on track, and I did do that this month. And if you are a regular viewer, you will also know that I am planning a major downsize in the next year, so my enjoyment of perfume is going to look like a lot more exploration of samples, more decants, more travels, and far, far fewer bottles. And this month is a good example of that. I did not purchase a single bottle of perfume in June. I did, however, bring in one bottle thanks to a swappie with my good friend Allie, and that bottle was Chant from Nina Ricci. I was really interested in this perfume after hearing the lovely and wonderful Tammy talking about it on her channel, and she sent me a sample in May along with an incredibly generous package of bottles that she was decluttering that she thought I would like. I am still totally over the moon with the new additions she sent me, and I'm so, so grateful for her kindness and her generosity. Thank you again, Tammy. So Chant was just as fantastic as Tammy described. It is a fragrance profile that I really cannot seem to get enough of, that like sweet and creamy floral with a wisp of freshness running through it. So this perfume fits into the family of perfumes like Prada's La Femme, Burberry Brit, Montblanc Signature. If you like perfumes like that or have smelled perfumes like that, you would probably enjoy Chant. The florals in Chant are champaca and jasmine, and I feel like champaca is such an underrated floral. It's sort of in the same vein as osmanthus to me, but on the peachy scale, champaca is like a 4, where osmanthus is more of a 10 for peachiness. And so I think that champaca brings more freshness to a composition than osmanthus. Osmanthus feels sweeter and more honeyed to me, where champaca just feels like lighter and airier, so it's really perfect in this particular scent. There's ginger and there's lemon up top here. That is a combination that I also love in perfume. One of my favorite ginger scents of all time is Ginger Essence from Origins. To me, that is the best citrus ginger that I have ever smelled. And as Chant dries down, the salted caramelly sweetness starts to swirl around those fresh floral notes. And so it just gives you this really beautiful combination of like sweet, salty, floral, fresh. So I have really been enjoying this perfume since we did our swap. And honestly, it was so nice to just bring one bottle into my collection this month and really get to enjoy it. In our swap, Allie also sent me 2 of my favorites, a travel size of Burberry Goddess and a decant of Burberry Brit in the EDP concentration. And I'm so excited to have more of these 2 favorites, especially because I finally finished up my first decant of Goddess the other day. So here's a little interesting tidbit for you. I ordered one of those little twisty decants of Goddess from Fragrance Net in March. So essentially I've had it for 4 months, March, April, May, and June. And it has been my #1 go-to bedtime scent. So when I wear Goddess at night, I put on about 3 sprays. These decants, like the one you see on the right in this video, they are 8 ml atomizers. So I went into my perfume journal and found that I wore this perfume exactly 41 times since I've got it. So if you have ever wondered how long will an 8 ml decant last, if you average 3 sprays per wear, you will get a good 40 plus wears out of that decant. I paid $18 for this decant, so I definitely think I got my money's worth out of this one. And now that Allie has shared a travel with me, I am set for at least the next 4 months with this wonderful lavender, cocoa, vanilla, ginger perfume that I have really grown to love. And then in our swap, Allie sent me a whopping 27 samples. Some of them were carded or branded, and some of them were from her own collection to try. So I have so much to explore and discover and talk about thanks to her. And this is the thing I love about being a perfume enthusiast. I know I say this all the time, but it is true. I just love to smell stuff. I love to take a deep dive into a perfume to see what nuances I can pick out after wearing it more than once. I love to hear how other people perceive a scent, especially when they take away something completely different from my own nose. I love to read about the history of a perfume, the perfumer who created it. I love to compare perfumes for their similarities and their differences. Like for me, the fascination just never ends. So thank you, Allie, for giving me so much to explore and so much to study in this swap. And then I also received a message in June from the wonderful Karen at New Day New Scent. I had left her a comment that I was really intrigued by a perfume called Porthole by Loumari. She had talked about it on her channel, and I was really interested in smelling it. And she went ahead and sent me a sample of it, along with two other surprise samples, all the way from Canada. I thought that was absolutely so sweet and so generous of her, so kind. Thank you so much, Karen. I have given them all a first sniff, and I cannot wait to tell you what I thought of them. But I will say I definitely understand why you are smitten with Porthole, and I'm going to give it a full wear test so that I can talk about it in an upcoming video. And from our little weekend getaway to New York this month, I picked up two discovery sets, one from Mabelle O'Rama and one from Cirrus Perfume. I had really wanted to try Mabelle O'Rama after hearing Claire Smith and John from Scented Snowdrops talk very favorably about their scents. I tried them at Stell and they really stood out to me, but my nose was so overwhelmed that weekend. I wanted to be able to explore both of these brands more closely and over time at home. And I just have to say, I so appreciate the way that independent brands package their products. You can see how much thought and care goes into everything that they do. Mabelle O'Rama's set comes with these beautiful cards for each perfume with a description of the scent and some key notes on the back. The cards are really thick and sturdy and perfect for sampling. Like right now, the scent of Forbidden Bloom is wafting up out of this orange card from my earlier spritz of it, and it is just so lovely. And I actually might throw this in my purse for like when I might need to like fan myself. And then the Cirrus Discovery set comes in this lovely box with a magnetic closure. Each sample is perfectly labeled and nestled into like a little home. And Parakeet was the perfume from this line that made me say, oh, I definitely need to smell more from this brand. It is a fresh grapefruity scent that I cannot wait to dig into and start journaling about in my next sampling session. And then you can see here that the good people at Stell actually wrapped the Discovery box in this red tissue and sealed it with a Stell sticker. They very easily could have just like put the Discovery set in the bag and sent me on my way, but they wrapped it so pretty. They wrapped it up, and I think that that is such a nice touch. I cannot say enough good things about Stell and my time visiting there. And finally, I purchased 5 samples from Scent Split for my June sniff along. The theme this month is squeaky clean, and I cannot wait to share what this month's group has to say about the 5 perfumes we will be sniffing. I also added 2 other samples to that order. I wanted to revisit Existence from Amouage and 1979 New Wave from Les Bains Gerbois, and Sneak Peek, that one is going to be included in next month's July sniff along. Okay, so Declutters. In my swap with Allie, I sent her a bottle of Kenzo Amour. Now, I love this perfume. It is a wonderful powdery floral with like a steamed rice note that I think is really special in one of the most beautiful bottles ever made. But because I am downsizing my whole entire life, these hard decisions will have to be made. So I'm just glad that this one went to a good friend. And I also sent her a bottle of Cocoa Beans by Monotheme. This is a really interesting scent. It smells nothing like cocoa beans to my nose. I smell an aromatic kind of dry gourmand, and I really was interested in hearing what Allie would think of it. And I also sent her a travel size of the now discontinued Sinner from Kat Von D. This is a very spiky rose patchouli. I found a lot of 4 of these secondhand, unopened, so I thought I would give them a go. It's very good, but it's very, very strong, and it's a profile I don't reach for very much, so I thought she might enjoy it and like to try it. And then I sent her a bunch of decants and samples in our swap, and it was great fun as always. And I am so enjoying exploring what she sent me, and I will certainly be talking about my impressions of these samples in upcoming videos. So thank you again, Allie. So those were all of my ins and my outs for June. Now to the dollars and cents. If you've watched this series for a while, you can probably recite this with me, but I will never stop saying it ever. My monthly fun money budget is a max of $150. And for a perfume collector, that is not a lot of money, but for a regular person, it definitely is. And I realize that not everyone has $150 to spend each month on a hobby. For many, many years, I certainly didn't. And so I know that it is a privilege. It is never lost on me, and I will never, ever take it for granted. So as for my spending this month, I spent $39.19 on samples. I spent $14.02 on postage and $76.21 on discovery sets. So that brought my spending total for the month to $129.42, keeping me under budget for the month. And since it is June, the halfway mark of the year, I thought it might be interesting to share a little summary of my perfume collecting for the year so far. So in total, I have added 17 bottles to my collection this year, and I have decluttered 16. And I am definitely going to have to shift those ratios over the next 6 months. And I am definitely going to have to shift that ratio over the next 6 months in order to start letting go of some of the bottles that will not be joining me in our next destination. But still, I am very happy that I haven't tipped the scales too far into the overflowing shelves of perfume category. And more importantly, I have really loved everything that I've brought in this year so far, even if some of the bottles end up being perfumes that move along in the next year. I will continue to very much enjoy all of my 17 new fragrant friends. So on the budget end, I am currently $200.59 over budget for this year so far in my spending. This, however, has been offset by a total of $120.93 in declutter sales. And yes, I will definitely share my Mercari here once I get my declutter life together and start finally posting some things up there and begin my downsize. But at the halfway mark this year, I am really only $79.66 over my total budget for the year, which is pretty good and fine with me. And as I start to downsize, I think that this is going to shift, so I'm not worried at all about overspending this year. I think I am going to end the year far ahead of budget, actually. But most importantly, I would say that this year so far has been my very favorite year of all of the years I have been collecting perfume. Partly because of the perfumes themselves, of course. I have really been enjoying my samples. I've been enjoying my perfume journal so much this year, but mostly this is because of the perfume people that I have connected with this year. Here on YouTube, over on Instagram, and through the sniff-alongs and the meetups I've been hosting. It has been so nice to connect with people over something so positive, so fun, so enjoyable. So if I have interacted with you or you have interacted with me this year through a comment, a DM, an email, at a sniff-along, at a meetup, I just have to say thank you. Thank you for making this hobby even more wonderful than it already was. And thank you for watching my little channel and for spending your time here with me. I truly appreciate it. I hope you have a really great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.